We all think we're good negotiators. We know how to hold the ground. We know how to get what we want until we find ourselves in the middle of a messy conversation infused with strong emotions. And then we think, it's not my fault. It's a mess. It's them. And there was no chance for me to get anything out of it. We give up and justify it by saying that it was impossible and even unfair. That was my life before I started to learn about advanced communication. And the reason why I started to learn about it, I was really struggling with the unfair world. And I was thinking, why am I not chosen? Why I hear no again and again? And what do I do wrong? Or more importantly, what don't I do to be a little bit more successful? How can I be more influential so people would tell me yes more often than they tell me no? Let's talk about what people usually do to get what they want, and more specifically, what are the three most common mistakes that people make when they negotiate based on their own personal experience before they learn a negotiation system? The most common one is hoping to overpower the opponent, talking excessively, talking fast and loud, guilt tripping them, threatening them, arguing, and showing bad emotions. It's so common because it's what we usually learn when we are little kids, and we've learned very early on, very early in our life, that people do something when we are uncomfortable. So we show how we are uncomfortable. When later we learn that people start to make decisions when they are uncomfortable, we start when we understand that we start to make them uncomfortable. But the thing is, when we grow up and become adults, we don't really change our tactics. We just made them a little bit more sophisticated. But the thing is that this is not the best way to negotiate. It's really disadvantages because it hurts the most important thing that you have, your relationships. It pretty much destroys your future. And people who understand it don't want to negotiate at all. They don't want to destroy their future. And therefore, they stay silent about what they want. And this is probably okay for lower level employee to stay silent for years and be patient and hoping that the boss will notice them, but it's not good option for growing leader, or especially it's not an option at all for entrepreneur, because your whole success depends on solving problems. Staying silent isn't solving anything. If you stay silent and don't negotiate for a few years, first of all, you'll lose your time. And second, you'll feel that the situation is unfair, and you start to feel that you want to get even with the world that surrounds you. And you want to get even for its unfairness. You'll feel you deserve more. And this is not a good position to start negotiation. The second most important common mistake is that people make uh, during preparation. Um, when they prepare, they usually think about themselves. They focus on what they have done, their goals, and maybe their perceived reality. They think about what they deserve. They think about the arguments they can make, and how they can maybe hint and communicate some of the threats. And they think how the situation may be not unfair to be in this position. They prepare to guilt trip, and you know they pretty much preparing to make many mistakes. And all of this preparation is just garbage. Just throw it away. It doesn't help you. It doesn't count. Such preparation only gets you in trouble and away from your goal. Some people meet with their best friends and they share with them their frustration and what's going on with them. And what they do find out, they get a lot of sympathy. They get reassurance in their own self evaluation, feeling of unfairness, and confirmation of their arguments. And some, not very clever friends, even give them their own best advice on how to overpower the opponent. This is just crazy wrong. You can't be more wrong with this approach. You can only guilt trip someone who is as mature as 10-year-old, probably. But a mature, full grown person, an executive, an experienced leader will recognize your game immediately and will never deal with you again. It will be a lot of hard feelings with very, very little results. Therefore, when you prepare, never consult with your best friend. It will only hurt you. Consult with your mentor. Consult with your coach, someone who is responsible for your success, not for your feelings, someone who will tell you the truth about you and your approach without seeking to be your friend, because you will need to hear the truth before you negotiate. Otherwise, how can you build a respectful, fair, and long lasting agreement? How could you be open to hear the new information and stay flexible for different options? And most importantly, they don't leverage empathy. So people who prepare for negotiation, the third mistake is they just don't know how could it be useful. They don't know how uh, they don't know what to do with empathy. It seems to be counterintuitive. It seems to be a waste of time. It feels like schmoozing or chit chatting. It feels like giving your ear to someone so they can vent on you. And then what do you do with it? What empathy is good for? Is it really good for anything? So people who don't know how to leverage the power of empathy lean on the overpowering the opponent approach. Well, they don't know any better. That's why they do this. And therefore, they appear in a negotiation as having an enormous ego when everything is about and around the only thing, me. So, what does it do for relationships? Instead of building relationships with empathy, they actually destroy it with guilt tripping. But empathy is your only leverage in any conversation that requires agreement between people. The classical example is how people actually ask about a promotion. I like talking about this. So, how people usually ask for promotion and what's wrong with it. So, people usually work for a few years and then they get comfortable with what they do. They get maybe a little bit bored or notice that others are promoted, and then they start thinking, well, others are promoted, but I'm not. I'm doing my job so well, so and I do it for many years. I am not getting? Why am I not getting promoted? Then they wait for their boss to be in good mood. This may take a few months. And finally, they have that crucial conversation, maybe get the courage and get that crucial conversation, and that goes all wrong. They lay out all the facts on the table, they argue, they guilt trip their boss, and then they see there is no chance and they give up. And their boss leaves the conversation feeling threatened that the employee is going to leave soon. As a result, they experienced deteriorated relationships, potentially a signal to the manager about disengagement, their disengagement. And they are left with no leverage except leaving the company. So when it comes to a business negotiation, it's looking pretty similar. We all look for leverage, what we already do that is valuable for the other side, and how can we leverage that to get something extra out of it. We make our agreements based on the past performance, while negotiation is all about future. It's all about understanding the other side, discovering and creating opportunities. So, how can we turn it around? What is the easiest and the fastest way to get out of the guilt tripping and into a creative mode when we create new options and new opportunities? How to stop begging for something and start offering a better future to everyone? The first must have skill, and there are many skills. So it actually requires the whole transformation of how you communicate. But the first thing is reflective listening. And it's not just being passive and lending your ear. No, it's about leading the conversation and discovering new opportunities. Very briefly, how does it work? So when people talk, you listen closely. And when it's your chance to speak, summarize very briefly what you have heard. And you summarize on two levels, logical and emotional. It must be very brief. It's not about repeating back all the concepts, all the stories you've heard. It's about kind of staying back and understanding the whole picture and give them a sentence or two that expresses the meaning of everything you've heard. Sort of saying what they are going through and how they feel about it. People who experience it feel strongly that they need to give back to you. They offer you their service, goods, preferences, referrals, advice, even if you don't ask about it. If you get a chance, by all means, learn about reflective listening. It will give you so much advantage, you won't believe it. It will give you massive success. It will make you 10 times smarter in a conversation. And you'll be pretty much given what you need for free. Some of my clients, after they learn it, they just can't stop smiling when we talk about it. So we get together and, well, I'm asking them, well, how is it going? What are your new findings? How your conversations have changed since you've learned about reflective listening? And this is what they say. They say, "Oh, this is just gold. I have changed non-changeable flight tickets. I get refunds on my non-refundable payments. I got extra consulting services for free. I extended my membership for free indefinitely. I got more autonomy at work. I improved my relationships with my spouse and my kids. I got free repairs after my warranty expired. I resolved a dispute with my noisy neighbors, and now they are not bothering me, and we are in good relationships. And I got best seats on three flights, which, if I would buy them, it would cost me, $90 or something like that. And this is just small stuff that you can get immediately. Imagine how much you can generate for your future partnerships, agreements, executive advice, referrals, new business, career opportunities, loyal clients, supportive team members, you name it. Don't miss the chance to learn about it. The return on investment is unbelievable. It's a life skill that everyone should know, at least the people who are really taking their success seriously. How hard is it to learn it? It's not really hard. You just need to understand the concept of it. Learn a few rules. It will be kind of like 5, 6 rules, no more. And then hear about typical mistakes people make. It may take you a day to grasp the concept of it, but then you must practice it. Consider it to be a physical skill. You need to train your brain, you need to train yourself to do it till it becomes comfortable, until it becomes your habit. But by no means it's difficult. It's actually enjoyable, and the results will be almost instant. You will start learning today, and the same day you get the first results. So don't delay it, because every day in your life counts. You can take advantage of these incredible skills because you deserve it. Okay, I'll stop right here and let you decide. You're in full control of your life. You're the CEO of your biggest startup called My Life. So the choice is yours.